A long, long time ago, long about 1997, Ultima Online was released to the masses, and this was, I guess, one of the earliest of what we could probably consider to be the modern MMOs. There were others, of course, that had come before it, such as the original Neverwinter on the AOL service, and also games like Meridian 59. Ultima Online, I think, was kind of, at least in my experience, was kind of the first standalone online game from a major publisher, from Electronic Arts, who had been around for quite some time, pumping out games for I don't know if they went all the way back to the Atari 2600, but they certainly did pump out games for the Commodore 64 and the Amiga. So when Ultima Online came around, in 1997, I had just graduated college the year before, and I had heard about it probably through a magazine because we didn't have the internet. Well, scratch that. We did have the internet, of course. But we didn't have a huge, set of resources for finding out information. We had essentially the precursors of blogs back then, which somehow got news and information from game companies, probably through press releases or maybe even by hounding them, old school ways for information. So, the sites back then were far more unique than they are today. But I found out about Ultima Online, and having been an Ultima player and Ultima fan for a long, long time, I thought, wow, this would be really cool to have this online game that you could play, with thousands of other people. So I ponied up the money to participate in the beta, and that's not as shady as it sounds, because back then, nobody knew how to do this. Signing up for a beta was kind of a thing that nobody really did, and the money that was spent pretty much covered probably the cost of shipping and handling, maybe the cost of the pressing of a CD, but it arrived at my apartment in a small white envelope that was just about the size of a CD. So I popped that thing right into the computer and installed it and started to give it a shot on dial-up, which, was quite possibly one of the worst experiences humanity has ever had to deal with. So my friends and I, we played Ultima Online for quite some time after that on the Atlantic Shard, and it was one of those things where it was our first major MMO for a lot of us. So we have obviously a lot of fond memories of that, and it's always been something that I've looked back on, and I know that you really can't go back and recapture what made your first MMO special for you, because it's not just a case of the game itself. It was also a case of the circumstances at the time, and at the time my friends were all playing, and it was all new to us, and that was fantastic. But I don't know, now and then I keep just saying, well, let me jump in and take a peek and see what's going on with it. So I decided to give it as honest a try, I suppose, as one could expect now in 2016, almost 20 years after it launched into the world. So I'm going to make this little series. Hopefully I'll get more than one episode out of it for Ultima Online, getting started. So the Ultima Online client, we're using the classic client. There's two of them, actually. The original client lasted for, I actually don't know how long it lasted for, but then there was the enhanced client that they released, which gave it some graphical upgrades, also changed the way the UI operated. This was, I believe, it was certainly after EverQuest. I don't know if it was after World of Warcraft, but one of the things that the enhanced client added was a hotbar, which, of course, thanks to World of Warcraft, was all the rage at the time. But we're running the classic client, so this is about as authentic and original experience as you're going to get, even though there are several different changes under the hood since last I played. So I'm going to start a new character. I have a legacy character. This is not my original character. My original account is lost to the mists of time simply because the email address that I had back then I no longer have access to. It was, again, through dial-up service. There was no Gmail or anything like that, so I don't have that access to that account anymore, so that character and all of its everything is just gone. This character was a character that I tried, I think, with a 14-day trial maybe about a year or two ago, but we're going to actually start off with a brand spanking new character here. So let's see. I do not have... Oops. Yeah, I don't have access to the Gargoyle class because that comes with a... that comes from the Stygian Abyss expansion pack, which I don't have. I can apparently create a human or an elf, so I guess we're going to go with a human. Of course, you know, I mean, this is certainly going to look incredibly archaic to many, many people. Let's go with the Mohawk. And let's go with the... It looks like they just slapped these graphics on as kind of overlays. Mustache. Short beard one. Mustache. Yeah, let's go with the short beard mustache. Alright, so let's see. Hair color. Facial hair color. That's fine. Pants color. Let's do like an eye bleeding blue. Do a blue. He's wearing jeans. Give him kind of a nice... green? I don't know. With any luck, I won't be wearing these clothes for very long. Alright, we're going to call this... Jonah. Alright, so he's male. Okay. Now, let's see, a trade for your character. This... Now, the thing about Ultima Online, and the reason why I keep going back to it as far as, you know, it being an interesting game, is that you're not actually tied into a class. If I remember correctly, the original game, you didn't have a class. You just had some starting points that you could allocate to skills. You level up skills individually by using them. So choosing a class here is just to give you a little bit of information to get you started. For example, if we choose Advanced, we get to choose some of our own starting skills. So as you can see, these are all of the different skills that you can choose. And these are all of the skills that you basically can get, including things like taste identification, if that's specific enough for you. You can choose to set up your own strength, dexterity, however many points. Now you do have a point pool, and your once you reach the cap, then if you try to level up any new skills, it'll take away points from other skills. So you can set skills to be a pool for, you know, to pull from if you no longer want those skills, or you can lock skills to make sure that you don't pull points from them at all. But let's see, we'll take let's see, the Paladins or the Holy Warriors, defensive, offensive ability. I want something that's going to be combat good, because I want to be able to go out into the world and do stuff, knowing full well that it's not going to have any kind of effect. I can certainly turn around and do other things later on. So, what do we want to do here? Now, we have an option. When we played in 97, through whenever, we all started in Vesper, and we almost never left Vesper. I spent at least 2 years just in this general area of Vesper, and I only traveled on foot. I didn't use teleportation until much, much, much later in the game when I had actually started traveling. But I don't remember ever having gone to the city of U or Minot. No, Minot I've been to, because that was up north of Vesper. But Moonglow, Chehalem, Trinsic, I'd never been there. New Haven is the newer, new player experience, more or less. So, to be honest, I think we're just going to start in New Haven, mainly because, just so we can get the full experience here for starting out. And there we go, no ceremony or anything. I'm just going to drop this off in here and see if I can max this out. Yeah, now the interesting thing about Ultima Online is that all of these windows, as you can see, are mobile. So, let me turn this down so I don't get background noise. Alright, all of these things stack. So you essentially have this palette here. What is this? I don't even know what this is. Double click on me for help. Buffs and debuffs. Okay, so buffs and debuffs will appear here. This window, at least in the newer client, the enhanced client, you can resize. Apparently this, I don't think I can resize. Okay, so this is me, I believe. These are my skills. Passive, workhorse, passive. Humans find a better chance of finding more resources while gathering hides or the lumber. Regenerate. Oh, okay, so this is what I get for being a human, more or less. Okay, so we'll just close that. This is me. Actually, this is me right here. This little dude in the purple cape, because I'm awesome. So, you can't even see my crappy clothing choices. We've got my, let's see, we got health, mana, and stamina. Health, obviously, hit points. Mana, obviously, magic. Stamina, obviously, if you start running, and I think attacking, your stamina will go down. Here's our mini-map. And my mini-map just went away. So we can do this. There used to be a way to get this thing to zoom in and out. I forget what it is. Our backpack. Backpack items, as you can see, there's no any kind of organizational skills, which is a freaking nightmare. Let me tell you, once this thing starts getting full, you're pretty much screwed, which is why you can get chests and other bags, and you can put things into those and put them into this in order to get a little bit of organization. The Book of Chivalry. Dang, man. What is this? Is this it? No. Book of Chivalry. Okay, double click. So, yeah, all right. Cleanse by fire, close wounds, consecrate weapon, dispel evil. Tithing cost. Wow. Okay. I have no idea what I'm doing here. Minimum skill 5. Expert flamus. Observing. Corpor. This is going to take me a while to learn this. Learn/relearn. Start off with 1,000 gold. Alright, so here's our paper doll. And the paper doll, of course, is the popular term for a character. And in this case, it's never really been more true, because essentially you're just this cardboard cutout here with a very awkward-looking pose. And you've got all of your gear on you. The gear on you is the gear that's on you. So if I want to take the helmet off, I grab my head and I put it in the bag. So I'll just take something and I'll drop it on my head, and that's how you equip it. So that's how that works. You've got let's see, the helmet. Oh, okay. So apparently you got little hot bars here, so you can kind of get a shortcut, even though my ringmail tunic doesn't show up there. What else? What is this? That was my close the window button. Let's see. So this, okay, so this is just this book, which tells me absolutely nothing. This account is 2 months. 2 months what? I don't know. 2 months, whatever. Whenever you have a information, it shows you in this little scroll, and this is your little scroll bar here, this little ribbon on the side. These little items down here, the jewels, allow you to resize the window, but you can't really make it wider. The minus sign will roll it up. In this case, it doesn't get rolled up anywhere. It's just kind of there. My inventory, which is already open. Let's see. None of these things. Dang it. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Here we go. Profile. It does. It does roll up, so here's my profile. Okay, so when I clicked this, it did roll up. It just shoved it over there under that menu bar. We don't need that. We're going to close that. Let's see. We got our options. So here's our old school options. A rat. Music. Okay, so I'm just going to go through this because you don't have any other way to actually get set up originally. Colors. I never mess with those. Macros. You can do macros here. Let's see. Hold shift for context. Disable the menu. Disable new targeting system. Offset one. Hold on. I just want to see if it says enable pathfinding with double click mouse run automatically arrange. Some of this stuff is real legacy. Run mouse on a separate thread. Enable page flipping in full screen mode. Use GDI in full screen mode. Reduce frame rate. Okay, so yeah, I am in kind of as big as I can possibly get it. Full screen resolution 1024 by 768 was really all they had. Gameplay window size 800 by 600. If I went with the newer client, I would be able to resize this. Maybe I'll download the newer client. Maybe I'll do the next video and the newer client, kind of have them side by side so you can see. Reputation system, criminal actions, miscellaneous, order your disk cache for non-maximum installs when that was important. Show names of approaching. Let's see, use English item names. Sure. Use Circle of Transparency. Oh, God, Circle of Transparency. I love Circle of Transparency because when you go behind these isometric buildings, you'll vanish. And it certainly helps to be able to see you or anything that someone else might have dropped there. Inform you of increases of strength, dexter, int. That's fine. And the filters. So we're just going to say okay. Alright, so there's options. Quests. Quests were not a thing that was in the original. I don't have any quests currently, so we're going to just say okay. Not in a guild. Currently at peace. Now this is a combat toggle game, so when you want to go into combat mode, you click this and you go into war, and you go into the war stance. Or you go back to normal. You can sit here and you can dance like this. Okay. Status. That's this little window that's floating up here. Now you can kind of see all of the business that we got going on here. So here's our strength, our dex, our intelligence. Let's see, hit chance increase. Hit points, 72, which is good. Our stamina, 20, and our manos, 25. This is defense chance. I suck. Maximum stats, 225. So this is, I believe, the total number of these guys right here. So if I wanted to, here, we're going to lock our intelligence. We don't want it to go any lower than that, but we do want to increase our dexterity and our strength. So this will allow these two, well, you know what, screw it, because I can go up to 225. I just boost these as much. But if I got to a point where I wanted to stop my intelligence growth and just let strength and dex grow, I'd lock this and let those two take over the remainder of the points as I go. My luck, obviously. Weight does matter. Once you reach your limit, you will start to hitch and not be able to move. Lower mana cost. I don't know what that means. Damage. 18 to 24. Weapon damage increase. None. Followers. None. Swing speed. Lower reagent cost. My cash. Faster cast recovery. What's this? What's this? I don't know. Alright. What I'm missing? Yeah, what I'm missing? Where's my skills? Now this is our virtues. I have no idea what the hell the virtues are because they added this in well after I left. So virtues, of course, when you're talking about Ultima, Ultima was really big on the virtues where you were the avatar and you had to live up to these certain standards, and so you'd go to, you'd have to do all kinds of things, go to all these shrines and so on and so forth, and I really have no idea what's going on with this, to be honest. Status. So there is somewhere around here, I don't know where my skills are. I don't know. Character. Skills. Duh, right there. Okay. This is the last thing I need to talk about before we get started. Skills. These are the skills that pay your bills. So, each one of these is what you're going to be working on. And as you just do stuff, they go up. So, obviously, I started as the paladin, so I'm going to start with certain skills at certain levels. So, I've got focus here. I've got swordsmanship, tactics. Each of these means something. I'm not sure entirely what, but you can use these skills, anything with a little dot next to it. So I just tried anatomy, and it told me I couldn't use my anatomy skill in the NPC, but that's all right. I don't really need to examine the NPC. Other things like trade skills, inscription, for example, if I want to inscribe a spell. Magic, chivalry. Alright, I'm pretty good. Chivalry, but I kind of suck at evaluating intelligence. Wilderness, animal lore, that's pretty good. So, animal taming. You'd be able to kind of tame an animal. To be a follower. Tracking, you can track stuff. Thievery. PvP actually is in special areas, I believe, but otherwise it's on entirely different maps. So they originally started with this one map here, Trammel, I believe. Then they added a whole other map, Felucia, which is accessible through a different area. I remember back when we were playing in Vesper that you would go through a gate in the cemetery, one of the crypts, and that would lead you through a cave, which would take you to the other area where you could engage in open PvP. Originally, the game was open PvP, but that kind of got shut down because a lot of people got pissed off that they were getting ganked. So if you think that the whole, open PvP discussion is relatively new to your special game, it's not. It goes way back, unfortunately, and it still has yet to be resolved. Bard. You can be a bard. So, let's see. Skills that button are accessed in the world. New group. Show reel. Okay, so show reel and show caps. The reel shows you the decimal values. Once you start using these things, they'll start going up, and they'll start going up in decimal increments. So you can create a new group, and you can put your own stuff in there. So more or less, that's pretty much the setup for Ultima Online. I'm going to actually call this I'm going to call this just the first video. Leave it at roughly about a half an hour talking about it. So next time we're going to start here, and we're going to actually go and talk to this guy who's screaming double click on me for help, and we'll get our first quest, and we'll start to move around the world.